I told my mom, I said, it was a great day. I went and taught a class with a friend this morning, and then I'm going to go to a friend's house, and we're going to do a vlog of what they're growing in their garage. And she goes, like weed? Close. I think it's more like kale.
We are at some friend's house. They have told us that they have a cool little aquaponics system.
I was certain that it made sense about 4 years ago. I was certain that it just made sense for these health conscious families to actually have a place where they could get their own food and it to be healthy food. And I envisioned this idea and had seen some things on hydroponics where people could just go into, not into a grocery store, but go into this neighborhood area where you would walk into the greenhouse or the grow area themselves and say, hey, that's a beautiful plant, I want that one. And be able to pick it out themselves and say, this is what I want, and go home with it. Basically what aquaponics is it's an ecosystem. It's a closed loop ecosystem unto itself, in which you have fish that you're growing that by nature, whether off their gills or just naturally create waste. That's what fish do. And that waste then goes to feed bacteria that naturally live in the water. And that bacteria breaks down the waste into another nitrogen product that can then be picked up and naturally metabolized by plants.
It's like pink in here. I want you to tell me about the lights, and I want you to tell me about everything that you got going on.
All right, we'll start with
what you're growing.
We'll start with the lights. Because I'm growing indoors, because I'm in suburbia and my HOA would be troublesome regarding an outdoor greenhouse, which is the ideal way I would do this. I built this in my garage. I built my own special room in my garage, and I have a LED grow light. In order to get certain types of plants, tomato, fruiting type of plants, to bloom properly, there's a certain red spectrum of light in particular that they require. Now, alternatively, or special make, so it's high output, but a special make fluorescent lamp that I am using just to grow my lettuce, just to grow my bok choy, that don't require, you know, this fruiting, this blooming type of light. In fact, if you use some of those types of lights over just greens, it can make them try to go to seed. They'll try to shoot, you know, and flower and go to seed, which actually ruins the flavor, makes them very, very bitter. So we'll step on inside.
It's not nearly as much of a party in here with the the pink
not
light
as
off.
fun,
It was really fun.
So yeah, I've got it's an Anaheim style pepper that I grow the heck out of. Has really great flavor, a little hotter than you'd expect. But I can put this thing out. I mean, all year round, these things will put off really good. This is a lead from the sump pump that I have in the bottom of the tank. It just comes up, comes out both sides. There's a little bit of, let's see if I can pull one and do that real quick. Again, there's double that flow on both sides is all that's flowing up and into these tanks. What you just heard begin, we peek down below. You can see over there, that is the drain. This tank right now, the water got up to a certain level and it started overflowing into a natural siphon type system, and it will bring the water level all the way down to within about 1 inch of the bottom. So this is expanded clay. It's got there's a true market name to it, but I'm sure I'll forget what it is. But they superheat clay, and the water, the moisture inside the clay expands very rapidly into steam. So at no time is the plant or the roots without a little bit of moisture or without a little bit of air, because plants can drown. Plants need oxygen. Again, at any given time, there's air and water available to the plants in this flood and drain bed. This nasty looking thing actually has holes in it as well, so it lets the water come in, flow over the standpipe, and as the water starts flowing into the standpipe, it sucks the air. So the standpipe probably sits, the top of the standpipe sits about right there. So there's a little bit of air at the top. And the beauty of it is that as the water starts going down, it sucks the air out of this, and that creates the siphon naturally. But this system has been running successfully with no maintenance on the bell siphons, only a little bit of change in water flow and things like that for 2 years, over 2 years.
And there's nothing sucking the siphon. It's just gravity. Yeah, so you're just pumping water up.
That's right. I've got the only thing that I would have to, if I had a greenhouse, that I'd have to run electricity on is the pump that sits in the bottom of this, and potentially some sort of an exhaust fan, because again, in Houston, you gain so much heat in a greenhouse type setting, you have to pull air through.
Again,
In my mind, people really do. I'm sure you know them. People go out and buy fish emulsion. Fish emulsion is fish waste. It's solid fish waste, and put it in their garden, in their outside garden, right? Well, I can do that, and I probably will eventually clean this out and take that fish emulsion out that's building up. But my plants are growing on fish emulsion without me moving it, right? How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
This is a nice hybrid plant that doesn't require a male and female separate plant. Generally, if it was an outdoor type of pepper, just the natural blowing of the wind and things like that will pollinate it. So literally what I do is every morning when I come out, I just check on the system, and I literally peek in here for 30 seconds every morning, just kind of make sure things are working right. And I give it that much of a shake. That's right, just like that. And it's all pollinated, and I've got, you know, again, fruit and peppers coming off all over the place. So the deep water culture is fun for a few reasons. It does such a beautiful job of growing greens, especially in deep water culture. It's very simple. Little inlet tube back here. See, things are actually really natural. I've got, you know, crud, algae growing in my system. That's not ideal, but it just means I've got plenty of nutrients in my system is really what that means. And I've got, again, you've got to have air available to plants. And so I've got these two little air pumps. You can see the bubbles on the surface of the water. And that's what they're doing. They're just really just bringing up air to the roots. And so this little bitty lettuce here, you can catch the roots. Yeah, little bitty lettuce here on top.
Oh yeah.
But these roots here on the bottom.
Yep.
All they're going to do is grow some simple roots that hang right down. Obviously, I'm trying to maximize my grow space so that everything fits really, really tight here. This deep water culture is how some, I won't say all, but how some of the commercial platforms actually grow. So there'll be these troughs that are 4 to 8 feet wide, and they'll run, you know, 50, 60, 100 feet long, and there'll be 18-inch deep troughs that water, again, is just flowing through from a big tilapia tank or something like that, where you get the right amount of light and nutrients, etc., going, oxygen going properly. A little bitty bib type lettuce like this should be able to turn within about 6 weeks from, I won't say from germination, probably 7 weeks from germination to harvest. It's got about a week or so that's just kind of growing and doing this and that. But once you get it in the water, there's very rapid growth. In fact, these pak choi here, there's two of them right next to each other in the same hole. I should have gotten 2 different holes. But these pak choi are between 3 and 4 weeks old, 4 weeks old probably. And obviously, I mean, they look really, really nice. At the edges, again, this is where I'm saying that the grower here is a little bit off on it, in that I could use a little bit more iron in the system, and a couple of other things. But really, even without everything being perfect, the system produces things for my family to eat that's healthy. I mean, there's nothing other than fish waste feeding these things. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And again, with a system with the greens and things like that, it's nothing more than, I'm only using 2 of the 4 bulbs right now. I've only got 2 of the 4 bulbs turned on. I believe I've got it set at about 14 hours a day. So about 14 hours a day.
And does that do like intensity differences, or is it just on and off?
It's just on and off.
Okay.
Simple. The question that would still always come to mind for me is, hey, you're growing bluegill. Are you going to eat them? I would love to eat one of these guys. I really would. But I'm kind of thinking, how many people in my family can I feed with the 2 or, you know, the 3 or 4 or 5, or, I mean, I've got 6 or so in there, but 3 or 4 really good sized bluegill. How many can I feed? So I just keep saying, hey, we'll keep letting them grow. To me, the 2 biggest risks of what my family would consume out of here are based 2 areas. Number 1, what's the in the feed? What's the quality of the feed that I'm getting the fish? Is there potentially any heavy metals? Is there potentially any you know, just things I don't want in the fish, because it's a closed loop. Like I said, I put some water in periodically to top it off and add some to it, because very little evaporation, a little bit of transpiration. Plants give off just a little bit of water, but then the plant's obviously absorbing lots to grow. I mean, they're composed of water mainly. That's what plants are. Potentially, these fish could keep getting higher and higher density levels of anything bad that's in this food. So you have to be very, very conscientious of what you're feeding the fish. That's a key piece. And then 2, you and me, Bo, what are we bringing in? every time I come in and check. Have I washed up very well before I touch the plants, before I touch the rocks, before I touch anything like that? And I actually did wash my hands before we came out here. But again, that's where you've got the fish. The beauty of that is, okay, they're cold-blooded, so they're not going to produce any kind of waste that would be harmful to us. And nobody eats bluegill sushi. And so I think we're okay there. You know, as long as we're cooking it through, then we're all going to be safe on that side of things. So
What do you cook it like?
you can stir fry with it.
I
think we just
it's
saute
really
it, like
nice.
with
Yeah,
some
just
olive oil and garlic.
olive oil and garlic.
Like a
Done.
kale? Like a kale?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing
Oh,
it
but it
tonight.
tastes so much better than kale.
And I love kale.
See, we're not big.
See, I love kale, but if it tastes even better than kale, then who doesn't want something that tastes even better?
First time that we're gonna ever eat bok choy. Not gonna be the last time. What did you cook it in?
Olive oil and garlic.
First time trying it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a really good bite. We left the stems on the leaves. We didn't cook the stems, but it's tender, but
Oh,
that was a better bite than our first try, right?
this is our second take. The first time I didn't have the microphone on. Thank you, Tom and Suzanne. Bok choy, grown in fish poop.